Secretary Andy, would you lead us, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We're going to call this prison board meeting to order at 2:03, Wednesday, June 26th. Approval of minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only. Anyone from the public wish to address the board on agenda items only? Okay. Okay, we'll get into motion 19-1028. Motion to approve all current payables for the Community Correction Center and to the prison. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Motion 1028 is approved. Okay, Mr. DeBillio for the Controller's report.
Yes, Sheriff. The Controller's Office reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations which were prepared by the prison's business office for the month of May 2019 and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statements. The balance in the inmate account was $611,918.56 as of May 31st of 2019. The balance in the canteen checking account was $418,322.05 as of May 31st. In addition, as of May 31st, the canteen account owned two certificates of deposit, one valued at $15,000 and the other at $132,041.81, totaling $147,041.81. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Mr. DeBillio?
On the question regarding the canteen account certificate of deposit that's valued at $132,041.81. It's a 60-day bank CD, so it renews itself every 60 days. I sent an email to the board and to Warden Betty and Deputy Warden Lang regarding looking into the possibility of receiving more than just 1/10% interest on that account. This has come up before, and I think that the judge actually mentioned it at our last meeting to look into that. Currently, the signatories are former Warden McMillan and Dave Langen. So in order for us to possibly get a better rate, I think we need to get working on having the signatories changed, possibly talking to Ed Karpovich, the county treasurer, and seeing if we can earn better than 1/10% on that $132,000.
I think we should pursue that. Everybody okay with that?
Absolutely.
Can we look into that?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Deputy Warden Lane and I have an appointment tomorrow with the bank to discuss exactly those things. First of all, to get me signed on as a signatory, and then to discuss the possibility of a better interest rate for the CD. So we'll be meeting with bank officials tomorrow.
When does that expire, Controller? That's you.
The 60-day period currently, I think, is ending about this week. So we'll have to work on, I think, 60 days from now
Okay.
for the next renewal.
Okay. You're going to work on that, Warden?
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions for Controller DeBillio? Motion to accept his report.
I'll make a motion to accept his report.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. DeBillio. Community Correction Center report. Mr. Jeffers?
Good afternoon, Board.
Afternoon.
Correction Center's report for May 2019. Item 1, our program totals. Male work release had 46 participants and female work release had 7. Adult house arrest had 122 participants and juvenile house arrest had 17. Item number 2, our program's revenues for the month of May total $66,234.54. Item 3, our program's expenses for May total $135,950 even. Item 4, our program's completions. Work release had 10, house arrest had 31. Item 5, our violations. Work release had 3, house arrest had 7. Item 6, our program's warrants. Work release has 7, house arrest has 1. Item 7, our budget report. Overtime is at 50%, expenses at 41%, and revenue is at 41%. That concludes my report.
Any questions for Mr. Jeffries? Motion to approve Mr. Jeffries' report.
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Jeffries, thank you. Ward and Betty.
Good afternoon, Board.
Good afternoon.
The average daily population for May was 833 inmates, of which 531 were county inmates. As of June 20th, we had 852 inmates, 720 were adult males, 2 were juvenile males, and 130 were adult females. There were 199 U.S. Marshal detainees, 66 state parole violators, and 37 being held for other counties. The overtime, out-of-county boarding, and the community service reports are attached. A staffing update: currently our correctional officers' numbers break down to 167 full-timers on shift and 2 part-timers on shift. We have 1 that's out on workers' comp, 3 on continuous FMLA, 4 on administrative leave, and 3 vacancies, full-time and 11 part-time vacancies. Total number of full-time correctional officers is 178. Other vacancies we have is a sergeant. Actually, I wrote PREA coordinator. That position was filled as of today. We picked up Jennifer Palamides from the Juvenile Detention Center. She was the PREA coordinator there, and she's now our PREA coordinator as of today. And that counselor position has also been filled. But we do have a part-time receptionist vacancy. FMLA, 3 officers are out on continuous FMLA, as I mentioned above, and 31 officers have intermittent FMLA, amounting to 18% of the correctional officers. The budget as of May 31st, revenue was at 33% and expenses were at 43%. Inmates at or past their minimum dates, right now we're running a total of 27. 10 of them have submitted home plans and are awaiting parole. 5 have no home plans, and 6 have had parole denied due to an unacceptable home plan, and 6 have been remanded for the balance of their sentences. Extraordinary occurrence reports: there were 8 since the last prison board meeting. On 5/16, a county inmate was placed in a restraint chair after attempting to harm himself. On 5/20, a county inmate was threatening to harm herself. She was placed into the restraint chair for her own safety. On 5/23, a county inmate was placed into the restraint chair after smashing the glass on the light in his cell. 5/29, a county inmate was resisting staff as they were attempting to move him to a camera cell for observations. He was placed into the restraint chair for his own safety. On 6/3, a county inmate refused to be placed into a suicide prevention spot after expressing suicidal ideations. He was placed in a restraint chair for his own safety. On 6/7, a county inmate refused all orders to be handcuffed to move his cell assignment, and a compliance team was formed and OC spray was used. The inmate was then handcuffed without physical intervention and placed in the restraint chair where he was decontaminated. On 6/10, a county inmate on a detoxification watch covered his cell camera and door window. After numerous attempts to have him remove the obstructions, a compliance team was assembled. Numerous attempts to have him comply were met with negative results. He was sprayed with OC, and the compliance team extracted him from the cell and placed him into the restraint chair for safety. And finally, on 6/11, a newly committed county inmate was placed into the restraint chair to conduct an unclothed search after he refused all orders to cooperate with staff. Next up is PREA. There were 5 allegations of PREA violations in the month of May. 2 were of the inmate-on-inmate sexual misconduct type, and one was declared unfounded and the other was unsubstantiated. One allegation was a staff on inmate allegation of sexual harassment and was found to be unfounded. And two were staff on inmate allegations of sexual misconduct, and both were unsubstantiated. All completed investigations have been forwarded to the district attorney's office, and this concludes my report.
Any questions for the warden?
I have a question, please. Warden, 6 inmates had their parole denied due to unacceptable home plans. Can you just tell us what constitutes an unacceptable home plan?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes it's the environment itself. A lot of times what it is a person puts in a home plan, and when the parole officers go out, they discover that whoever he or she is going to be living with has guns in the house. And a lot of times it's the owner of the home is given the choice: do you want your kid back home, but you got to get rid of your guns, or are you going to keep your guns and your kid can't come here? And a lot of times they'll choose those guns. That's not always the case. Sometimes the home plan that's submitted is somebody who's in and has a history of alcohol abuse and has gotten in trouble, and the home plan is living above a bar, things like that. There's all sorts of different reasons why things would be denied, but that's probably the majority of them, is those two items with the guns and living next to a bar.
Those plans that are reviewed by adult probation and parole and ultimately approved or not by the sentencing judge, correct?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for Warden Betty? Warden, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the warden's report.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opportunity for the public to address the board.
Hi, Bev DeBarros. I'm one of the book volunteers in Lackawanna here. I'm thinking of asking if we can add something on to our program, and that would be reading glasses. If we could provide reading glasses from the dollar store to have on our book cart with us. We have all these, at this point, probably thousands of books. And so many people either can't read them. And in fact, this past week, one male inmate said he would be reading to the other person whose eyesight was bad. So these are, like I said, we would get from the dollar store. And I called my eye doctor and was told that I said, how would we know what strength of glasses to give? And they said, just open the book and see what you can read with, and it would, simple as that. And then Judith Roth, who's another volunteer, she actually researched in to see if harm could be done by using the wrong strength of glasses. And the answer, and from several sources, was no, you can't get hurt. So we use donations. Well, a lot of the donations are us. We buy used books and that, in addition to a lot of free books that we get from people who know that we do this. So in this case, I was thinking if we could actually get reimbursed for glasses for $1 a pair. Oh, by the way, they can get them from the commissary for $10 a pair. And this is a dollar store item I'm asking for. So that for the next month, if we could try it out, and we would submit our receipts next month, maybe for reimbursement, would go over $50 from the commissary fund is what I would request. So if it's going to be a no, I'd rather wait till next week because Judge Gibbons knows I'm speaking about this. But if it's...
Beth, Judge Gibbons left me a bag of, I don't know if they're cheaters,
Oh,
prescription glasses,
yeah.
but guess what? My senior status has showed up, because I forgot when I was leaving to take them out of my office. So what I'll do is I'll have one of my deputies drop them off here tomorrow. but there's a whole bag full of them.
Okay,
So my apologies, I ran out without
okay.
them.
So I guess
Just
that's
so
a
you know.
yes,
So let me,
because I didn't know if
Alleviate
there
that
was a
problem.
quorum here or where this would go, but I didn't want to know today.
Got a quick question, would they be for borrowing for the
No,
inmate or?
no, because I don't think,
Keeping.
yeah.
Keep-
We give a lot of things to keep, the crossword puzzle books and the word finds. They're $1 from the dollar store, so we buy quantities of those.
well, there's a big bag of them, and I just forgot to grab them looking when I came, so I'll make
wow.
sure they're here tomorrow.
Let me just ask
Okay.
the warden, are there any concerns from your perspective with something like that?
There are concerns, there's security concerns, but as Bev mentioned, we do sell them on the commissary. Of course, the concerns are that the lenses are gonna be popped out and sharpened, as well as the frame itself, it's usually a plastic piece. We're already dealing with that issue though, because we do sell them to our commissary, and we allow individuals to have glasses, prescription glasses dropped off. So it is a concern, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say no to it since we're already allowing it.
And now, under your current regulations, do you know who has glasses versus someone who may be able to pick up glasses without reporting this? So there's no accounting of who has glasses or who doesn't, that this would cause any concern?
That's the one thing that we'd have to develop a monitoring system for. We do that with razors, for instance, when one is getting a razor to shave their face, we account for that because, of course, that can be a very serious weapon. But I would like to implement the same type of thing so that if inmate Jones got a pair of cheater glasses, we know he got a pair of cheater glasses, and anytime we want to see them, he's going to have to produce them, so that we make sure they don't all end up in one cell getting converted into weapons or being resold. That's always a possibility. Somebody runs what they call a store, and that is just stockpile it, and now you're going to charge the other guys $5 a pair of glasses because you have all the glasses. We have to be cautious of things like that.
Yeah, thanks. And I did intend to say we'll keep track of the inmate's name, cell number, block, and we will have a record of everybody who it receives.
Would we need a motion on that to, approve the using of reading glasses for inmates? Because if we do, I'd make that motion based on Warden Betty's explanation.
It's probably within the warden's discretion.
I was gonna say the
You can
warden's discretion, I
certainly
think,
do that for the record and, just,
I'll make that motion, that we start with the bag of glasses from the judge and take it from there for allowing the purchasing of,
subject to a security protocol approved by the warden before distribution.
yes.
Okay, well, there's a motion on the floor to accept those glasses, subject to a security protocol led by the warden. Somebody want to okay that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
One more thing.
Sure.
Do we know anything about the success of the GED program?
Warden? Okay.
Good afternoon. So far, we have, the latest numbers are 54 inmates that were exposed to programming or educational services. 24 were released before they were actually able to finish the courses. We have 10 that have tested and passed, 3 that have tested still have sections to pass, and 4 released prior to testing and the classroom work was completed. We did change up the timing of the 2 previous sessions we were doing over 3 months, and we have now changed that to 2 months, but we doubled the class time to try to cut down on all the people getting released before they get a chance to test.
Do you have any breakdown on gender?
Currently, we're only working with the male inmates this session, so
So those numbers would be represent male inmates only?
no, we did have females test in there too. That was overall. We have 1, 2. We have 3 females that passed. A couple that still need to follow up and take different sections. One needs to take a math section in English, and then a couple have gotten released that we haven't followed up with.
successful.
Yeah, I think the one problem we're having is we're losing, clients
Getting released.
before they get a chance to test, which is a problem. But again, so far all we've done is adjusted doubling the class time, but shortening the overall period of that. I think so. Thank you.
Anything else for this gentleman? Okay, thank you. Anyone else would like to address the board?
Dr. Stephanie Bressler from Scranton. This month, we learned that the county agreed to a $1.1 million settlement to 2 federal lawsuits in which female inmates alleged sexual abuse. This agreement represents the 5th prison sexual abuse lawsuit that the county has settled in 3 years. PREA, the Prison Rape Elimination Act, sets standards that, when followed, should send a clear message that sexually abusive behavior in Lackawanna County Prison will not be tolerated. I'm asking again questions I asked in March concerning the implementation of PREA in the Lackawanna County Prison. The Lackawanna County Prison Policy and Procedure Manual recognizes PREA's requirement that an annual report be made available on the prison's website. The annual report, and I'm quoting here from the Policy and Procedural Manual, the annual report will include a comparison of the current year's data and corrective actions with those from previous years, and will provide an assessment of the agency's progress addressing sexual abuse. Yet the PREA allegations and findings for 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 posted on the website provide only statistical information on the numbers of incidents reported, numbers founded and unfounded, and numbers substantiated and unsubstantiated. This is what the report looks like, just numbers. The reports do not include the required comparison of data across years and assessment of progress in addressing sexual abuse. Given the Attorney General's announcement last year of a persistent culture of sexual abuse and assault at the prison, and the settlement of 5 lawsuits in 3 years totaling $2.4 million, compliance with PREA reporting to the public on progress in the prisons addressing sexual abuse is imperative. When can the public expect to see this mandated report? This is the second time I've brought this to your attention, the second time I've asked when we can see this required report. I plan to inquire about how I can file a formal complaint if this report is not provided. Again, when can we expect to see this mandated report on the prison website?
Board, can you address Dr. Bressler?
Sure. Difference of opinion between the prison and Dr. Bressler and our interpretation of PREA. Our interpretation is that we put that information out there. The comparison is there year by year. It shows you how many accusations were made and the findings of those accusations. It's not an exercise in academia. We're not doing that for PREA. I don't have the staff and the time to annually do some very in-depth college-level report. And I hate to sound so blunt about it, but we're doing what we need to do. We've been audited by PREA. The last time was in February or March of 17. The next time will be next February or March, sometime in 2020. Every 3 years, we pass that audit, no problems at all. We've reached out to folks involved with PREA to see if we needed to add more than what is there, and we don't. As far as concerns about our following through on PREA-related matters, that's something that I keep a very close eye on. I can tell you that in my 3 years here, we've had 3 terminations of employees as a result of PREA investigations. I know that. That information is sent to the district attorney's office as well. I'm not sure what else you want us to do other than, I mean, I know, and I don't mean anything disrespectful with Dr. Bressler saying, I get where she's going with that, but this isn't, this isn't a college, it's not a university, and I don't have someone that can dedicate all of their time to doing some in-depth study when we're getting 5 to 10 PREA investigations on a monthly basis. They take time. There's investigations. Every investigation involves talking to the inmate, other inmates. If it involves a staff, reviewing our own policy and procedures, reviewing video from cameras, writing up a full investigative report and submitting it to the proper authorities. So all those things take time.
So you're meeting the standard requirements
Yeah.
of PREA regarding reporting?
I believe so. And I respectfully understand that Dr. Bressler doesn't think that we're doing enough. I'm doing what I can. And I don't, at this point in time, I think that PREA was implemented here in 2014, and I think it's made a huge difference in matters. Because speaking of those lawsuits, without getting into any particulars, they're all from pre-2014. They're all from pre-PREA. All the allegations and accusations, and even the county making settlements, it's my understanding those settlements are not admissions of guilt on any part whatsoever. I understand the economics behind that. It costs a lot of money to hire attorneys to defend people, and I think that's part of the process that's evaluated when a settlement is decided on.
So you're saying the most important thing I think you're saying is our prison is passing Prison Rape Elimination Act inspections.
Yes, we had one every 3 years if you pass it. We had one in late winter of 2017. More importantly than that, from a personal level, I'm not going to allow things like that to occur. I am going to look into those things, and if I'm not satisfied with the job that my PREA coordinator's doing, I'm going to call that person out as well, and we're going to have a discussion. I take the matter very seriously, especially in the current environment and atmosphere. Since I got this position, this investigation and it was underway. So.
And all those cases that Dr. Bressler mentioned are before the 2014 time period when PREA was instituted here at our county prison.
All the ones that she cited, yeah. And again, we've had 3 terminations that have resulted as well, but they didn't result in lawsuits that I'm aware of. So, but it is something, I just want to impress that on the board and the public. It is something that I take very, very seriously, and I'm very vigilant about following through on that and questioning everybody on it. I've had occasions where I've questioned people and I said, are you sure? I think we need to also talk to this person, that person, and the other one as well before you conclude your report, because I want it to be as ironclad as possible. So.
And our district attorney is getting some of those.
We review and investigate and act accordingly depending on the basis of the information.
Anything else for the ward?
I'll respond. May I respond?
Yes, come on.
Okay. I'm not asking for a very sophisticated analysis here. I'm just asking for what your own procedure manual says that you will do in compliance. And that is to not only provide this basic data, but to also do a comparison with this year, with previous years, and talk about the corrective actions that have been taken and provide an assessment of the agency's progress addressing sexual abuse. That's what your procedure manual says you will do, and I'm just asking, where is that annual report? I'd also like to point out that Attorney Matt Clemente, who presented a letter, I believe last year, probably in the spring, to this board, pointed out that the auditor who does the audits here at Lackawanna County Prison has, based on his research, has never found a prison out of compliance. So, another question is, how do you pick that auditor? And would you consider perhaps selecting another auditor? I'm not sure what that process is, but I just wanted to remind you that Attorney Matt Clemente did provide you with a letter pointing out the research he had done looking at that auditor. So again, I'm just asking, where is that annual report? And if you're doing a great job, then tell the public. Thanks.
Anyone else? Members, other business?
I'd just like to congratulate the board, and I think he's doing a tremendous job. I really do. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, and his work is 24/7 as warden. I think he's doing a great job. And Warden, could you come up to the podium and when you explain that we just had a couple of students graduate from the jail?
Oh, sure. Commissioner O'Malley.
The prison board realizes it, but this isn't just the GED part. This is the part where they actually have a teacher from the Scranton School District. This is something I think that happened about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That's a requirement that any student under the age of 21 that would like to pursue getting their graduate degree from high school have the opportunity in the county prison. And I think we had about, was it four young men graduating this year?
Actually, I believe, Commissioner, that there were 4 or 5 individuals actually there, but there were a total of 11 students who graduated through the program. And so everyone knows the law is that if you have somebody who is of high school age or under 21 years old and meets certain criteria and doesn't have their high school diploma yet, if they opt to, they can attend high school while incarcerated, whether it be in Lackawanna County or any county prison. The Scranton School District is the local school district that covers here, so they have a teacher, a special ed teacher, and I believe a school psychologist who are all dedicated to coming out to here. And every year we have several individuals who graduated. This year, like I said, I think there was only 4 or 5 left in the prison because several of them got out just before graduation, but officially they get to choose whether or not they accept a diploma from West Scranton High School or from Scranton High School. So yeah, Commissioner O'Malley came out and for a small little ceremony that we had, 4 or 5 individuals, but really the total was 11. And he's right, I think we've been doing that for 10 to 15 years. We've been doing it. Yeah. So I mean, over the years, if we've been averaging 10 people a year, they're graduating with an actual high school diploma. Nothing against the GED. I'm a big proponent of GED. But I think it's something that is incredibly difficult to obtain while incarcerated. You get your high school diploma. So for every individual out there, I wish I knew them by name, but I probably wouldn't be able to say their names. But congratulations to every single one who this year and in previous years got their high school diplomas at the Lackawanna County Prison through the efforts of the Scranton School District.
And weren't they happy? It was a big day. It was a big occasion for them.
Definitely
It's
thrilled.
an opportunity when they go and fill out a job application, they can say they're a graduate.
Absolutely, yeah. So,
A great job, Ward.
thanks.
One more comment, Sheriff, if you don't mind.
No.
It's important that the public understand that this board and this prison administration treats PREA compliance and allegations with highest concern. It's at the top of our list because we know, what the past has occurred in the past, and or at least alleged in the past, and we take it with highest concern.
Well said.
Anyone else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.